Hi, you could call me Enas. I like to make Dota 2 here suggestions. One of my playtest-worthy ideas, according to some of my friends and a Dota personality who I've paid to review my hero suggestions, is Diz. I commissioned my friend to do this artwork for me. You can commission him. I will leave a link to his commissioning page in the doobly-doo, in other words, the description section of the YouTube video. Diz is a melee carry disabler nuker. This means he scales well with items and does high damage output mid to late game. He is a disabler, which means he hinders your opponent's ability to fight, and he's a nuker, which means he does high damage with his spells. His first spell, Dizzy, has an innate effect. This means it'll affect you before you even skill the spell. What it does is it makes it so you don't walk straight. Instead of walking straight, you walk in a randomly curved path that has a maximum deviation from straight the direction you want to go. Before you level this skill, it has a 45-degree maximum variation, or deviation from straight. And every time you level it up, it'll reduce that number by 9. So your first level is 36 degrees maximum deviation from straight. This means you'll walk a lot faster and faster towards your target destination, because you'll walk more and more straight towards it as you level the spell. The direction you are facing will not update until every 50. It will update every 50 units traveled. This means if you're walking very fast, it'll update more frequently. On top of that, if you spam click one location, you will not start to walk more and more straight the more times you click, because it will only update every 50 units traveled. The only time that this is not the case is if the new target destination is more than 90 degrees from your previous destination, or destination target. When you arrive at your destination, you will continue facing the direction you were facing when you approached the destination. This means you will not face the direction you would normally face on a normal character. As in, if you walk from one point to another, you will face the direction of the straight path to them. With him, that is not the case. This spell uses pseudo-random chance rather than true random chance. This means if you walk a very curved path and not very straight, you will start to walk more straight in subsequent seconds, or subsequent intervals, rather. The active component of the skill is when you activate it, you get 4, 7, 10, or 13 seconds of your turn rate being 100% faster, and you get bonus physical damage on your auto attacks based on how many degrees you've turned in the past 1.5 seconds. This means, since 4 times 45 degrees is 180 degrees, if you turn 180 degrees in the past 1.5 seconds, you'll get 4 times these values in terms of strength, or in terms of damage. Making it at 40, 80, 120, or 160 attack damage bonus. If you spawn a whole 360 units in the past 1.5 seconds, it would be double those values, which would be 80, 160, 240, or 320. This spell has an 80 mana cost and a cooldown of 4 seconds. As a kit, as Diz has been designed, he has very powerful spells as well as stats in order to make up for the fact that he has a very big hindrance to himself. So what does Centripetal Mace, Diz's second spell, do? It has a passive effect and it has an active effect, just like the first spell. The passive effect is on a 3-second cooldown. You can rotate the way you face more than 270 degrees in one single direction. This means either clockwise or counterclockwise. And once you've rotated 3/4 of a circle, a rope mace will start to project out from you. As you spin, it'll reach a further and further range of 100 times the number of revolutions you've spun so far. So if you spun one full revolution, it will be 100 units away from you. And every time you spin one more revolution, it'll be 100 further, capping at 600 units reach. All units that the rope mace collides with will take a fraction of your auto attack damage, 55, 60, 65, or 70% your auto attack damage, plus a flat value number. Similar to Hoodwink's Acorn Shot, it does a fraction of your auto attack and a bonus physical damage number. While swinging, you can freely walk around any direction you want to go without needing to keep spinning your character in order to spin your mace. It will just continue to spin around you once you've started it. While you're spinning any maces, you cannot use your auto attacks at all, and you are slowed 10%. The mace will spin at a rate of 180 degrees per second once started. This means that it will take 2 seconds for a full rotation and reaching 100 units further. Meaning it is very effective to keep it swinging rather than throwing it. However, you can actively throw your mace, release it in the direction it's currently traveling, a distance up to its furthest reach, meaning if you have it at 600 units out from you, it'll travel 600 units in the direction it's facing once you release it. Releasing the mace costs 25 mana. But remember, you are 10% slowed when you're spinning your mace, so you may want to release it just to be faster to get to your target destination. Releasing the mace has no cooldown, but obviously starting it up has 3 seconds cooldown. Diz's third spell, Stumble. You cast it, and then you fall in the direction you are currently facing. Now this can be hard to line up because of your indirect movement. All enemy units that are collided with on your stumble, on your fall, take physical damage and are stunned based on a duration that scales with each level, as well as, depending on if there's heroes involved, it'll involve Diz's strength divided by the sum of all stunned enemy strength. In other words, if you're only hitting creeps, it will do these flat values every time. If you're hitting an enemy hero, the amount of time is either increased or decreased, depending on if Diz's strength is more or less than the sum of all stunned enemies' strength. Let's just say that Diz has the same strength as a target enemy that he lands on, and it's only one enemy. Then it'll have these same values as duration stun. If he has if he has 2 times the strength that they have, and it's only 1 unit, it'll be 2 times these durations. And if he's stumbling onto 2 enemy heroes and they are roughly double his strength, then it'll be half these durations. I hope that makes sense. While you're stunning units, you can't cast spells, attack, or move. However, if you try to attack, move, or cast spells, you will cancel the stun. You will stop stunning them. The mana cost of the spell is 80, and it has a 9-second cooldown, which means that it is very cheap and frequent you can use this spell. That gives you high damage output, potentially good for farming. However, lining up the stumble could be difficult. The Aghanim Scepter upgrade of this spell, or Shard upgrade rather, makes you auto-attack your all stunned units for 130% your auto-attack damage at your attack speed for the entire duration. This could have very high damage output potential and helps you carry the game, potentially. His ultimate, Intense Vertigo. You target a 350 unit radius, a maximum cast range of 600 units away, affecting only enemy units in the area. All enemies in the area for the next 7, 8, or 9 seconds have your reverse scaling of Dizzy on them. In other words, Dizzy being your first spell. In other words, if you have this spell maxed out and you're at 9 degrees deviation, they will be at 45 degrees variation. If you have this spell not even leveled and you're at the 45 degree variation, they will be at 9 degrees variation. In other words, you want to skill your first spell a lot before you skill your ult, if you want that effect. In addition to that, all enemies have a chance to stumble, casting your third spell on the ground, or just casting your third spell. Once every second, they have a chance to stumble. The frequency of this can be increased with Aghanim Scepter, making it every 0.7 seconds rather than once every second. The Aghanim Scepter also can increase the stumble chance by 15%. So it's just going to have them falling all over the place, all over themselves more often. Intense Vertigo, it is purgeable with a basic Dispel, so that means you can purge it with a Lotus Orb or a Yule Scepter, or a BKB. This spell uses pseudo-random chance instead of true random. That means if you stumble several times into quick succession, you will not stumble the next time. Or have a less likely chance to stumble the next time, I should say. This spell has a 220 mana cost, and it has a cooldown of 75 seconds, going down by 15 seconds each level, making it at max level have a 1/5 uptime. The talents of Diz are level 10, you can get Momentum Punch as 40 less mana cost, so that means you can get your buff, your damage buff, and turn rate increase for 40 mana instead of 80. Alternatively, you can get Momentum Punch gives you attack speed equal to the same amount of damage it gives you. That would be better for taking towers or trying to carry a game, for example. Dealing high damage output. Level 15, Centripetal Mace will benefit from attack modifiers, or you may have 2 instances of Centripetal Mace active at a time, meaning you can spend two maces at the same time. Level 20, you can increase the damage dealt by Stumble by 3 times your current strength. This will greatly increase your damage of Stumble, and especially since you have the best starting strength and strength growth in the game. I specifically did that because of Stumble. Yes, so either he gets 3 times his strength bonus damage on Stumble, or he gets 60 more movement speed. So he's even more mobile and able to carry in some ways. Level 25 talents are Intense Vertigo gets 6 seconds more duration, making it up at 13 to 15 seconds. Or Vertigo's Stumble proc chance is 0.4 seconds more often. In other words, if you have the basic skill, it would be at 0.6 seconds instead of once every second. So yeah, every 0.6 seconds. If you have the Artem Scepter, it would be every 0.3 seconds, rather than every second, which is crazy often. And I may have to reduce that value, reduce that value rather. But for now, I'm just going to leave it as is. So what roles would I consider Diz to be in? I would consider he would be a decent offlane. While he has a hard time getting around, he's very tanky, he does very good damage, and he has consistent damage. Like he can discourage people from approaching him because he can deal high damage to them and fall on them. He can farm pretty effectively, so I imagine he could carry decently. And yeah, I don't know if I'd see him in any other roles other than carry or offlane. Perhaps a mid, but it really depends on how strong this is in playtest. Diz's stats start very high in every category, as well as their growth is very high. This is simply because he has such a big hindrance from the start of the game. I want him to have a good strength base value. He's got fast move speed of 315, and he has 5 starting armor. Those stay the same even with his agility growth, or agility start. So his starting hit points are 740, his starting mana is 375, his starting damage is 74 to 84, and like I said, he's got 5 armor. It says that he has got 600 attack range, but you're going to have to ignore that. It's actually just standard melee range, which is, I think, 125 units. And projectile speed would be instant, rather than 125, or 1125. That is Diz. If you have any questions, comments, critique, please leave it in the comments section. Thank you for watching my video, and I hope you have a good day. Alright, bye.